Hello everybody, my name is Fatima from Nightrave Greyhounds, New Zealand. I'm here with you today. I was invited to talk to you about the most commonly asked questions by people who are looking into adopting a greyhound. I have been involved in greyhound adoptions now for 15 years, and I have spoken to thousands, literally, of prospective greyhound owners, families, couples, single people, retired people, all sorts of people. The first question, one of the questions we always get is this: can greyhounds live with other dogs, cats? Can they coexist with livestock? Can they live in lifestyle blocks with other animals around? In short, yes. Greyhounds can live with other dogs, big, small, old, young. And yes, a large number of them can live with cats. And yes, most of them will be happily coexisting with the stock as long as there is a fence in between. Every greyhound by every adoption agency is assessed for his suitability to live with big, small, female, male dogs, old dogs, young dogs, all sorts of possibilities. As we know, some dogs will not like living, for example, with a puppy. Some dogs will prefer it. So basically they are dog social, just like any other breed. With cats and other small animals, most of the adoption agencies, including Nightrave, will do a test or assessment rather, which will give us an indication of suitability of this greyhound, trainability for him or her to be trained to live with cats and possibly other small animals. Regarding livestock, sheep, alpacas over the fence, horses. Typically, greyhounds do not challenge fencing. Farm fencing is more than enough for most of them, and we assess for that as well. Next question that we often get is: are greyhounds friendly with people? Are they affectionate with people? And in particular, are they okay to live with children? Again, in short, the question is absolutely yes. Now, greyhounds, due to their upbringing for racing and due to the career they've had, were handled by various numbers of people. Many of them were complete strangers at the tracks: vets, handlers, stewards, various staff at the track. They do not have any aggression to people in general, and they make terrible guard dogs. Because they do not have guarding tendencies either. So basically, for most of the people, greyhound will look at them as a friend coming to give him some food or give him a massage or take him for a walk. With children, greyhounds don't have any reason not to like children because they've never had any bad experience with children during their career. But of course, it goes both ways. The children have to be very carefully controlled and taught how to interact with their new dog in order to keep everyone happy. And this is true for any dog breed, not just the greyhound. Next question that we get still asked all the time is that whether greyhound has to run off lead every day or a couple of times a week, or how often does he have to run? In short, absolutely not. They do not need to run every day or every week regularly. The most important thing for them is the regular walk, which will give them stimulation and that bit of exercise that they need. So 20 minutes walk twice a day, or one longer one once a day, depending on the season, depending on your schedule, is plenty. It's important to remember that the greyhound is a sprinter, not an endurance dog. And it's important to remember that their races are very short spring races as a rule. So really, we are not talking about the dog who needs hours of running every day. In fact, they could never do it. Once a week is plenty, and it's going to last for only a couple of minutes, as most of us greyhound owners know. They do a big, short sprint, and it's all over. For older dogs, they don't even need that. Enough exercise for a greyhound is a couple of walks a day, or one longer one a day, depends what you do. But as a rule, as we all know, they're all couch potatoes that sleep 20 hours a day, and they need that sleep. So a good walk, maybe an organized greyhound run once in a while, maybe a little run in a bigger area, and I mean a bigger backyard or you know, something like that every couple of weeks is plenty. Another very common question is, how do I feed my new greyhound? What should I feed it? Is it the same as for other dogs, or is it something completely different? In short, no, it's not drastically different. Just like any other dog, greyhound needs good food. In case of a greyhound, he needs 2 meals a day because the tummy is quite small, so 1 meal a day could not work for them as dogs. So breakfast and dinner is ideal. And just for every other dog, you want to feed food that you're comfortable with, a quality food. But we do say for the beginning, when you just get your greyhound home, feed it the same kibble that he or she was fed in your adoption kennels. Why? Because you just want to keep that going for a while and not introduce yet another change for the dog. Of course, later on, you can completely change that as per advice of your vet, or what you find out yourself, or feedback you get from greyhound community. Another very, very common question is, of course, muzzles. Do I have to muzzle my greyhound? Is it a legal requirement? When do I have to muzzle it? The answer is simple. Your greyhound is muzzle trained. It is an excellent tool for you as a dog owner. Legally, there is no requirement for a retired greyhound to be muzzled anywhere in New Zealand. Practically, adoption agency will advise you to muzzle your greyhound in certain situations. For example, if you're training it to live with your cats, or if you're introducing it to other small dogs, or if you are walking it in an area where there's native wildlife, or if you are walking it in an area where there's a lot of cat presence, pet cats presence. Nightrave as an agency, we also always advise our new owners to walk their new greyhound muzzled for the first couple of weeks, everywhere. Why? It's not for the dog, it's more for the people. If their greyhound is muzzled, we feel that new owners who've never had a greyhound before will feel way more relaxed about the whole walking experience with their new dog, and that relaxed energy will go right through the leash down to the dog. And this is what we want. So this is an excellent tool for you. And eventually every owner, once they get used to the dog, and once they get bonded to the dog, and once the dog is comfortable walking around the neighborhood, most owners will be comfortable to take the muzzle off, part-time or full-time. Having said that, on organized greyhound runs, meaning off-lead runs in fully fenced, secure areas, muzzles, as far as I know, are compulsory on each event organized by any adoption agency if the greyhounds are running off-lead free. Not because they're aggressive, but they're required to be muzzled in those cases because the speed that they move at, in combination with their thin skin, can mean that even a playful nip can result in a laceration, which means you have to go to the vet and have the dog stapled or stitched up, which is absolutely unnecessary for a breed of the dog who is muzzle trained. In other common questions, and that one I have to admit is getting a bit less and less as greyhounds are more common and understood nowadays as time goes, but it still gets asked a lot, and it is, have they been abused when racing? Have they been beaten? Have they been kicked? Look at its scar on its leg, you know. So it is absolute oxymoron to have an abused greyhound and expect it to win. It's not possible. So in New Zealand at least, we can say that in general, our retired and racing dogs are not abused. If you have some scars on your greyhound, that is due to them having very thin skin. It's not due to them being kicked or abused or cut with something. It's important to say that lots of injuries happen in pet life as well. As we all know, if you see a local community, there's always, you know, due to their thin skin, there's a lot of, well, not a lot of, but there are accidents that happen, lacerations, broken toes when they run, due to speed that they run at, nails, dew claws, all those little things that can happen to them, and they leave scars. It doesn't mean that that dog has been abused in either his racing life or pet life. We also say to all our adopters and people who are generally interested to come to the races with us. All racing clubs in New Zealand now have open days where you can go, see the racing dogs, see the vet inspections, and you can find out for yourself. Another very common question we get asked is a question that comes as a follow-up from the document Notes for New Owners that we send to each prospective adopter. In that document, we talk about how to settle your greyhound into your life and your house when you just adopt it, when you just bring it home, what signals to give the dog, how to act around the dog, and how to present and implement the general pack leadership routine and other things that greyhound needs for you to do during that time. The gist of the matter is, in short, that this is a new adult dog in a new environment, in a completely new house. Even if this dog was fostered, it is you and your home and your family, your animals, your routine is completely new to this dog. In order to reduce the stress of this massive change in this dog's life, you need to make his world small to begin with. In order to make this world for your dog very small, you have to, let's say, edit the things very carefully that you do with this dog. So it all has to be done in small doses as to ease this dog in and give him time to find out about you, to learn about you, to learn about your children, to learn about your house and your routine. Many people, many adopters tell us, but why can't I just go to all the walks and introduce the dog to all my family and go everywhere with it the first weekend? We always say, hold on. You are going to have this dog for next 10 years. There's plenty of time. Let's do 2 to 4 weeks, or maybe a bit longer for some dogs because they're all different, of settling the dog inside the house and outside the house and in his routine. It is hard. It can be hard for some people because they're impatient to do all these things they always want you to do with their dog. But trust your adoption agency. Trust them when they tell you, keep his world small, do a limited number of things for the first couple of weeks. it will pay off in the long run. Well, I hope that this has given you a bit of more information or helped you a bit, at least, if you had any questions or wondered about any of these issues. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely day and hopefully see you again. Bye.